Hey fam, I hope you are having a great morning. This morning we are continuing part 7 of Who I Am in Christ. Oh man, we've been going on this for 7 parts. That's a while, isn't it? Alright, today I am safe from the evil one. Let's jump in. We always start off with a quote. Here we go. Let's see here. I believe that the attacks on your life have much more to do with who you might be in the future than who you have been in the past. That's by Lisa Bevere. We all get stuck sometimes, stuck in cyclical patterns of discouragement and disillusionment. Oftentimes, we keep going in the same toxic pattern, making the same poor decisions that lead to the same unfortunate outcomes. Did you know that our spiritual enemy loves this? He is absolutely hoping that we'll stay in a place that is not only far from God, but one where we doubt the goodness of God. The Bible calls the devil the father of lies. He isn't called the father of divorce or hatred or fear. He is the father of lies. He cannot lie, for it is his native language. There is never an ounce of truth that departs from him or any of the demons he sends on harassing assignments. But don't let that alarm you, because greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Let that sink in. The God of the universe resides in you as a Christ follower, and he is greater than our spiritual adversary. Yes, our enemy seeks to wreak havoc in our lives. Yes, he wants to steer us away from following God. Yes, he wants us to feel defeated so we will live in shame. But he does not have that final say. God does. This doesn't mean the devil won't still come after you to convince you to live for yourself. He will. What it does mean is that he has no hold on you. And the more you spend time relishing in God's truth within the pages of the Bible, the more you'll see the devil for who he really is, a measly pest that can be swatted away with God's holy word. The devil wants to strike fear in you and make you feel unsafe. That could not be further from the truth. Because of what God has done and will continue to do in your life, you are safe from the evil one. Stand on that truth. Man, I like today's passage, man, or devotional is it's powerful. At the beginning, it talked about being in a pattern where you get stuck in a cycle, where you get stuck just continuing over and over and over and over doing the same thing, where you feel like you can't get out. Sometimes those patterns, they're based on the decisions that we lead. And we kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday, where it's too hard to change, so we don't change. And so we just continue in that pattern. And the thing is, Satan loves that. If he could get you continuing over and over and over and over and over in a pattern, man, that just means that we'll never reach the destiny that God has for us. And the thing is, we've got to break these cycles in our lives. I think the only way, a lot of times, to break a cycle is to do something different. I always say this: the definition of insanity is just doing the same thing over and over. And a lot of times we sit here and we want to change. We want to do things differently. We want to think differently. We want to believe differently. But the thing is, we don't want to put the work into doing that. We don't want to put the work into getting to know God on a deeper level. We don't want to put the work in changing what's on the inside of us and dealing with what's on the inside of us, because that's hard work. And the only way that we can well, I'm not going to say the only way, but one way that is super helpful is that when you're in community with other guys, building community around you, not not just guy community. I said this the other day. Not the guy that you go fishing with. If you go fishing with a guy and you're super open and you're super vulnerable with him, okay, cool. That's a good guy. But most of the time when we go with guys, my wife cracks me up. She'll go, "So what'd you talk about?" "So what'd y'all do?" "Nothing really." "What did y'all do this?" "No." Did you, and she just goes down this list like, "Did you even talk to the guy while you were with him?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we talked the whole time." And she goes, "What did you talk about?" "I don't know." And the thing is, like, we sit there and we have these relationships as guys, but they're not deep relationships. They're very surface level relationships because as guys, we don't want to show vulnerability. It's been ingrained in us to not show vulnerability. And I think one of the best ways to get out of a cycle is to get around somebody that you are able to be vulnerable with, somebody that you're able to talk to, somebody that you're able to somebody that you're able to get good advice. Wow, I don't know why I stumbled over those words. And the only way is through spiritual community. The thing is, there's power in numbers. I know this had nothing to do with what we kind of talked about today. I'm just telling you my take. There's power in numbers. See, I don't know. Think of a war, or you're facing something, and it's just you. Well, in any kind of war scenario, the lonely person always gets knocked off. I hate to say it, but it's true. Watch a scary movie or watch a horror flick. The lonely person always gets taken out first. But the thing is, there's power in numbers. There's power when you're in community with other people. There's power when you have the ability to talk to somebody and be open and vulnerable with them about, for one, guys, I hate to say this, but you sometimes you need to be in touch with some of your feelings. Like, let's be honest, because you've got to be able to process some of those feelings. You want to know why you're angry all the time? A lot of times anger stems from unprocessed feelings. Sometimes anger is just a byproduct. I'm going to get deep real fast. Sometimes your pornographic addiction is a byproduct of something else. It's not the problem. And so often we make it the problem. So often we make our anger, this is the problem. My anger is the problem. No, that your anger has nothing to do with anything. It's a byproduct of something else. It's unresolved things within you. The addictions that you have in your life are unresolved things. And the thing is, what Satan wants you to do, and so often he wants us to do, is focus on the problem. Focus on the byproducts, not the problem. Sorry, I said that wrong. He wants us to focus on the things that happen because of something else. Because if he can get you to think about it, sorry. My computer made a weird noise. I was like, what is that? But if he could get you to think that you need to solve an anger problem, or you need to solve a issue within your life, whether it be priorities or anything like that, those are just byproducts because you've not dealt with something else, or you're not dealing with something else. I've gone through, I told you guys, one of my things that I like doing is a little bit of psychology, a little bit of looking into things. I'm not a psychologist by any means. I am not um, any of that. I actually, if anything, I take more like the coaching approach to the life and to things. But the thing is, Satan wants you to focus on those things. And when you focus on the byproducts, it keeps you in that cycle. But here's the thing. I like this. Satan doesn't have the final say. He speaks things into our ears, and he speaks things that we're not worthy, we're not good enough. We've because we've dealt with things, we have this shame and condemnation on us, and we feel like we can't get past that because of something that's happened. Again, something that happened previously. Mm. So, and the thing is, once you start believing that you are safe from the evil one, you can really start seeing healing take place, because you start seeing God's truth in your life. You start seeing the truth that God has been speaking over you this whole time. And you've been listening to these things. I feel like the title of this is a little misleading, because the thing is, it says I am safe from the evil one. But the truth is, yes, you are safe from the evil one, but it doesn't mean he stops. As you grow closer to God, and as you grow closer in hearing his truth in your life, Satan's only going to want to get louder. The things that are in your head are only going to get louder. And just like we said yesterday, we've got to make the choice. See, the devil, I like the last paragraph, the devil wants to strike fear in you and make you feel unsafe. Because if he can get you to feel unsafe, he can get you to close off. If he can get you to feel unsafe, he'll get you to put up the walls, to not let anybody in. He'll get you to fortify your heart and not let God come in. Because what we go into as guys is we just go into self-defense mode. We go into defense mode. I'm going to put up this wall. And the thing is, you're blocking from other people, but here's the thing. You're also blocking God in the process, because you've put up the wall. See, the devil wants you to feel unsafe, so you trust no one. And by trusting no one, that includes not trusting God. But here's the thing. You are safe in God's hands. You are safe in him. You're safe in reading his word. You're safe in one of the things that I do is I journal. I write a lot. And writing a lot helps you process things. Especially me, when it's so hard. Like, I have so many things rolling around in my head. And it's funny, like in my writing, I'll be writing about something, then I'll flip to something else, and then I'll, like, a couple of paragraphs later, I flip back to the original conversation. But it helps you process a lot. And here's the thing, in the reflecting, your own words, write down, I am safe from the evil one, and what it means to you. Repeat, I am safe from the evil one throughout your day. Set a timer. Set a timer that shows that you, to remind you, and it shows that you need to be able to say that. And then lastly, think of a situation you have faced or will face where you can apply this truth. I'll be honest with you, a little while back, I was stuck in that toxic cycle. I believed I wasn't good enough. I believed I wasn't worthy enough. I believed I wasn't equipped enough. I believed I wasn't able to do what God was calling me to do. And because I got stuck in that cycle, it was really hard to break free. And the way I broke free is what I told you guys, is I started seeking community, strong spiritual guys that I could be real with. Now I'm going to be honest, it was hard because I wanted to seek out specific people, And those specific people wouldn't even give me the time of day. So what that did to me was it created, or I shouldn't say created, it amplified what was going on within me. And it was hard. And then I found a group of guys. It was a group that I happened to be working with. And I started forming this bond to them. I started forming this attachment that we were able to talk about real things and about real life. We were able to sit there and be honest about what we were feeling in those moments, and be honest about what we were feeling in life and being overwhelmed. And that's how I started to overcome. I started talking to people, about my feelings and about the struggles that I was having. And these were all safe people. Now, I'm not saying go blab your stuff to people that have nothing to do with you and aren't seeking God. Like, those guys are the worst and the most toxic people, because what they'll do is they'll sit there and say, oh, you need to do this, this, and this, and this. And the thing is, they want to give you a formula. These guys were that I'm talking about, they sat there and said, all right, let's pray together. And then looked at me and said, what's God speaking to you? And they started helping me to realize the things that God was speaking to me, that I am more than a conqueror, that I am safe with God, that I am stronger than what Satan's telling me. They started reminding me of the promises that God had spoken to me. And see, the thing is, when you get around spiritual people, I don't know why I keep saying spiritual people. When you get around people who are following God, because I do believe there are spiritual people out there, and some of them are not the spiritual people you want to be locked up with and connected to, because they're just going to lead you astray, because they are following the wrong spirit. They're following the spirit of self a lot of times. But when you get around people who are following after God, that's what they're going to remind you. That's how you know that you're connecting with somebody who loves God, is when they're reminding you about Him, when they're reminding you of the things that He spoke to you. All right, let's get to the scriptures today. All right, first scripture is John 8:44. You are of your father, the devil, and it is your will to practice the desires which are characteristic of your father. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks what is natural to him, for he is a liar and the father of all lies and half-truths. I kind of like how they added half-truths on there. One of the things we teach our son is, quick obey. Delayed obey is still disobedience. And the thing is, he still did what we asked, or he still obeyed, but it was after the fact, or it was later on. And those things, and we teach them, those things are not the way that we do things. But in Satan, all he wants to do is lie to you. That's it. He cannot tell a truth. He wants to lie. I do not ask you to take them out of the world, but that you keep them and protect them from the evil one. That's what Jesus said about us. Little children, believers, dear ones, you are of God and you belong to Him and have already overcome them, the agents of the antichrist. Because he who is in you is greater than he, Satan, who is in the world of sinful mankind. Wow. Don't believe the lies that he's telling you. Don't put up the wall to barricade yourself in. You are safe. And you are welcome. I want to let you know we've built a community. We're in the process of building it and in the process of launching all at the same time. It's called meet.onlyone.church. And it's very basic, but it's a place where you can go feel safe. It's a place where you can find people like me, people like you, who just want to get to know God and know God more and know Him better. It's where we have conversations that we don't have online because sometimes they may be blocked, just being honest. But we want to have conversations and open dialogue there. You're more than welcome to join it. They're able to direct message me, direct message anybody, and connect with people and follow people. We're here for you. We're here so that way you're not alone, because you are not. That's what Satan wants you to believe, is you are alone. The thing is, there's 7 billion people on this planet. Maybe 8 billion at this point. You are not alone. And the thing is, with joining this community, we're able to see you, hear you, and let you know that you are God's favorite. That's something that we say all the time. You're God's favorite. I'm God's favorite. He died specifically for me. He died specifically for you. And you are safe in Him. Safe with Him. And we just want to encourage you. You can join there and find us and be a part of a community to build you up. We love you, fam. I hope that you know that you are seen, you are heard, and you are God's favorite.